Welcome back to Access Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Gargantia of the Verdurous planet, episode 2. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out the Galactic Alliance is fighting the Hideouts. Now, in my opinion, or should I say my theory, the Hideouts is an insect-type race, plain and simple. Now, moving on past that, we were introduced to the main character. His name is Henshin Ikeda. A great character in my opinion, interesting mecha. Now his mecha is called Chambers, definitely worth mentioning, or should I say the AI that's on board this mecha is called Chambers. So it reminds you of Outlaw Star just a little bit. Now moving on past that, we find out the Galactic Alliance has failed in their attempts to take out the Hideout's nest. That's right, they're retreating. They do a formal withdraw. Now apparently Leto's commanding officer has decided not to go with everyone else, to stay back and fight the fight per se, to buy them time, and he says goodbye to Leto in general. Now before Leto can actually join him or join the ship, Leto gets taken out. Now one of the hideouts has attacked him, however that hideout was destroyed, and guess what? Leto, he did not make the ship or get to meet up with his commanding officer. He's now in the middle of the wormhole and he's falling. He didn't make the ship. So we don't know where he's at. However, toward the end of the episode, we find out Leto, he's on Earth, the legendary planet which was supposed to be frozen over, and we're introduced to another character, and her name is Amy, and he ends up kidnapping her. I know, right? And again, that's where the episode ends, and I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Leto, and remember, he kidnapped Amy. Definitely worth mentioning. However, Amy has a pet called Grace, and her pet ends up attacking Leto, and now she is free. However, Leto is in hot waters because remember, he kidnapped Amy, so all of Amy's friends think he is a villain. Not a good move for the main character. That's all I can say about that. Now, Leto is being surrounded by people with machine guns, weapons. They look like construction workers. In fact, we see mechas that look like construction type mechas, because they're yellow with those stripes on them, or at least we do see yellow in general, so it's not looking good for Leto technically, but Leto keeps saying these people are primitive. Their weapons, primitive. They couldn't even open up his mecha, so that says a lot about their race, but they are human. That's the good thing. He's on Earth, they're humans, that's all that matters, and the air is breathable. However, there's a lot of water. They're on a ship. A ship, not land, ship. Now, I should point out, Chambers, he's trying to understand the dialect or the language that these earthbound people are talking about, what they're saying. And eventually he catches on, but Leto, he doesn't speak a damn word, so he has to talk through his mecha in order to talk to these people. Now, Chambers is telling all these construction workers that they're not enemies, they come in peace. Come on, you just kidnapped a girl. Really? You come in peace? Yeah, they're going to believe that. They got guns aimed at you. And throughout this whole episode, he mostly stays on the boat in this little corner, which is kind of sad. Like, you know, like pirates, how they tell you to walk the plank, that little board. That's where he was at. He was like on the plank of the ship with his mecha right behind him. Kind of not the most comfortable spot to be at, but you know, to each their own. Now we are introduced to a new character. Her name is Ridget. Ridget appears. Apparently Ridget is the head convoy representative. She's kind of attractive. She reminds me of one of the characters, the princess turned into a queen in Last Exile, if that makes any sense. So she reminds me of the character that played the second in command on Last Exile. Interesting character, and again, her name is Ridget. Good name, I love that name. And she has a gun. Nothing like a girl that's a convoy representative with a gun to not upset you. Really? And she basically asks Leto, who are you? I come in peace wasn't good enough, so who are you? Yeah, that was the big question she does ask, and Chambers tells her who he is and who Leto is. So now this representative knows who Leto is, she knows who the mecha is, known as Chambers, and that this mecha is unmanned. So the voice that's coming out of the mecha is just a AI, it's not a real person. And all these primitive people on Earth keep thinking there's a person inside of this mecha when there's not. I mean, if they're this gullible, hell, Leto, milk it. Milk these suckers. I mean, if they're just that stupid, then their technology isn't that up to date, then sucker them. Sucker them out of something. And again, that's where we open up with. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a little scene with Amy. Now, Amy tells everyone she thinks Leto is normal. She was just kidnapped. Her ass was slapped by Leto. And somehow Amy tells everyone, yeah, he's normal. Normal? He's a freaking pervert. He didn't do that on purpose, though, but still. Amy really likes Leto. She thinks, okay, yeah, he's normal. Now, Rigid, she knows Chambers is a high-tech grade weapon. So, Rigid, who is the convoy representative, knows that this mecha is high-tech grade. So it's worth a lot of money, and she wants to take it apart. No surprise there. This is a woman that actually knows what she wants. She's actually pretty smart in my opinion. Even though this mecha is unbreakable, no one can open it up, no one can get to it. The only way you can get to it is if you kill Leto, and if you kill Leto, I'm pretty sure his mecha is going to self-destruct. At least that's my opinion. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with the fleet captain. Now, we don't know a lot about the fleet captain or anyone that he's around, so again, this is second episode, of course, so not a lot to really tell. But again, we open up with the fleet captain, and he doesn't want to screw up anything right now. He doesn't want to fuck with fate. So this fleet captain is kind of smart. He doesn't want to take out the mecha. He doesn't want to take it apart. So he's pretty smart in my opinion. Apparently, it could be bad news or worse if they try to do anything. Right on the nose, bingo. Because you know what, for all you know, if you kill Leto, it could self-destruct. His mecha could self-destruct. His mecha could destroy everyone. Who knows? We don't know. I mean, for all we know, the mecha known as Chambers could have a bonding thing with Leto. So if his heart gets blown up, if he dies, then the mecha dies. Or it goes to self-preservation and it flies a coop. That's all I can actually say about that, but sorry, I digress. Now, apparently, Chambers comes up with so many ideas on where they're at, on what's going on. Chambers is definitely an intriguing AI, and I can't wait to find out more about him. And definitely, I love the Japanese voice actor. Definitely pretty good in my opinion. I feel like I've heard this voice actor before. Now, I should point out we are taken to a cutscene with Amy, and Amy has a little brother. It looks like he's bedridden or sick because he's in a bed. So that was also definitely worth mentioning. And he has all these modeled boats, these little boats, and we see Amy giving him a little gear that acts like a little steering shift on his boat, steering wheel. So she's definitely a really good sister. And again, her brother looks like he's bedridden or sick. Now apparently, Amy and her brother, they want to become friends with Leto. So at least Leto has friends in this Earth-like world, or Earth in general. So that's good. I don't know if I consider that the best thing that could have happened. I would have rather been friends with the fleet captain instead, since he has the power. But you know what? Start small, then go big. That's what I always say. So at least he has two friends, Amy and her little brother. Now we are taking to a little cutscene with Amy's brother, and he's telling us an amazing tale, like the truth. He speaks of how the Earth was frozen, and at one point in time, and that man left for the stars. And he thinks Leto is from the sky, and he couldn't be more right. So apparently, on Earth, it was a fairy tale that, Earth was once frozen, and people left for the stars when that happened. Well, you know what? Leto is the end result of what actually happened. But see, from Leto's point of view, Earth shouldn't exist. It should be frozen over or destroyed. So apparently, humanity, from the Galactic Alliance point of view, Earth shouldn't exist right now. It should have been destroyed or frozen. So this is kind of interesting. At least we get to know a little more information about what happened on Earth to what happened in outer space. Like, what's the difference? Like, there's always two sides of a story. Now we know Earth did survive after it was frozen, and the people of outer space have no idea that it exists. That's why Leto is trying to stay on this planet as long as possible to learn what happened, are there more people, so on and so forth. Now Amy, she basically sees Leto and offers him raw fish. So we're taking to a little cutscene with Amy. She finds Leto and she offers him raw fish. Yummy. Yeah, I can't have fish, allergic, but still. Yummy. Is that a peace offering? Remember, he can't understand what she's saying, so he has to turn to Chambers so they can actually exchange words. It's kind of funny, right? And so they're exchanging dialogue. Apparently, Earth has more water on it than it did before. So once Earth was frozen and it became unfrozen, the water levels built up. I mean, we had 75% of Earth is covered by water. To find out that it was frozen, and those frozen, the frozen icebergs and whatnot have melted, has capped all of the land on Earth. There's no land really left on Earth. Everything is run by boats. If you're not on a boat, then you're screwed. And apparently the ship that they're on is a salvage ship. So that's definitely worth mentioning. So these people, they go in submarines underneath water and they salvage what they can. And the only way they increase their population is by combining their ship with another ship to become a colony of some sort. Definitely interesting. Again, and their land is nowhere to be seen above water. That's kind of scary in my opinion. I can imagine that happening now if our icebergs and whatnot start melting. That's kind of real idea. That actually can't happen. But sorry, I digress. Now we are taking to a little cutscene the next day. Apparently, pirates are approaching the ship, and Leto, he's still in his little corner, and everyone's watching him. He's not really making any progress, if that makes any sense. But again, this is the next day. We're taking to a little cutscene with these pirates, and they're attacking these salvage ships. Now, apparently, a few of these salvage ships that belong to the fleet captain that we were introduced to, it belongs to his group. They're trying to find out if there are more mechas like Leto's. So they are trying to go back to where they found Leto in the water, see if there's any more clues on where he came from, if there's any more of him. So they're just trying to, get a better understanding of where he came from, and are there more valuable parts they can sell or pick up themselves. And they run into some trouble. The pirates, they approach and they're attacking, and guess what? The salvage crew are now being kidnapped. They're held up, and it's not looking good. They're being shanghaied. They're being ripped off. And Amy, she asks for help from Leto. Yeah, Amy, she goes to Leto and she says, help them. Now, Leto, he's put in a great position. You know what? I can use this as a trading leverage. If I save these people, then they're going to owe me one. Leto, I love how you think, because I would have done the same thing. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. Yeah, I would. So now, if he saves these people that are being kidnapped and held up for hostage and whatnot and being ransacked, if he saves them, now these people that have been pointing guns at him now will owe him one, if that makes any sense. So guess what? He goes into Chambers and he flies out and he takes out all the pirates. I'm not just saying he destroys a couple of the ships and whatnot. I'm saying Chambers, with whatever laser gun he has on Chambers, whatever weapons, they target each person individually and they shatter the bodies. So all these pirates get taken out individually without destroying with what's around them. It's like, holy shit, the accuracy was freaking amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, really. I mean, I can recall maybe one or two anime series that are kind of like that, but for so precise precision, it's freaking amazing. I would love to have a mecha like that. That definitely wowed me. Now, he did save the ship in general, so these people now owe him one, and the pirates are gone, but still, everyone back on the actual ship that are watching stuff from a distance, they're kind of in shock and amaze, and that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, well, first of all, what is Chambers really capable of doing? What is Leto's mecha capable of doing attack-wise? What else is this machine capable of doing? I mean, he can target individual people and take them out without even sweating? Holy shit. Can't wait to see what the hell a big-ass space shuttle does from the Galactic Alliance, if this is what one of their little units can do. Now, moving on past that, the homing beacon that's inside of Chambers, I'm wondering if the Galactic Alliance is actually going to pick up on that or not. It doesn't really look like that right now, so no surprise there. As for these pirates, I'm wondering how many other pirates are there. Are they going to try hiring Leto? Maybe. I mean, to me, it's cooler if you join the pirates versus joining this organization that looks like they're salvagers. I mean, that's just me, but although, I'm also a good person, salvagers, maybe give them a reason to live, but right now, they have not been good to Leto. They've held him at gunpoint, although he did kidnap Amy. I mean, they haven't really made the best impression on him, but he hasn't made the best impression on them. So, until they get things settled, that's how things are going to be. Now, moving on to Ridget, yeah, the convoy representative. I would like to know more about her, how she became the convoy representative. Does she have family, friends? Was she an ex-pirate? We really don't know. I would like to know more about this salvage operation and what their true goal is and where they're heading. But again, that is it for my final thoughts. As for my rating, again, 3.5 out of 5. This episode did not wow me, but it was decent enough because it had one mecha in it, so that was definitely worth mentioning and watching. Were there any real fight scenes toward the end of the episode when Leto takes out the pirates? And even that wasn't really amazing. It was pretty much cut and dry. Was there any romance and drama? No. If you're talking about drama, we're talking about Amy and her little brother and how they're talking about Leto, and that's about it. That was a drama. Was there a lot of information being thrown at us? Not so much, but at the same time, yes. Not so much, but yes, if that makes any sense. I'm saying not so much because we don't get to understand anything about the characters in general. There's no character progression. However, we do get to understand more about Earth and how it ended up frozen, or should I say, how long, if that makes any sense. So now we know the Earth was frozen. However, just when it was about to be frozen, people left for the sky. And then we understand from Leto's perspective that the Galactic Alliance has no idea that Earth is alive still and kicking. So, two sides of a story. They're coming together slowly. But again, final rating, 3.5 out of 5. And that is it for my walkthrough and review of Gargantia of the Verdurous planet, episode 2. But definitely comment down below. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe. Check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode. And let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now. And I got to hit the bricks and I got to go. And before I go, I got to say it. And I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.